evening, African Superstar family. What's up? This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African Superstar with another Unpopular Opinions. I want to give a big shout out to the customers at AfricanSuperstar.com. Thank you guys for shopping with me over 3 years. All my happy customers, much love to you. Big shout outs also to our members only who are designated by the circle next to their name. And last but not least, supporters of the African Superstar Music Project. We have a brand new EP dropping on New Year's Day, along with a new official music video. For every action, there is a reaction. So you guys stay tuned for the details on where to purchase that album, as well as viewing the official music video here on YouTube. I'm not going to keep too long because obviously, currently it's a bit late here in Ghana. I just got in from chilling with Monica. Yes, it's a Tuesday, and yes, I was with Monica. It was kind of a bipolar situation. Monica does not play around. I want to talk about an issue that I see among our people, and it's quite unfortunate because it's costly in the bigger picture. One thing that I see among, both people in the diaspora as well as continental Africans is we want everything easy. We want everything completed. We want the finished product. And we are not willing to, delay gratification or remain focused or remain resilient or see the bigger picture. And the most unfortunate thing about that is after someone has created the pathway for you and you begin to utilize that pathway, you better know that that system is going to benefit the creator. And you can apply this to so many different facets of life, and it's still the case. The best way to establish a business or the best way to position yourself or create something is to be there during the process as that thing is created. That's how it becomes an asset to you. But because our people are so interested in the ready-made product, you see, we are putting ourselves at a huge disadvantage. This is one of the reasons people are, for instance, not necessarily attracted to the continent. There are both continentals and diasporians that, because of the comfort of their day-to-day routine or because of the system, that's something popular. Many continentals talk about. They talk about, the system doesn't work here in Ghana. The system works outside. But the irony about it is that this very system that people look to and admire is a system of slavery, a system that is not going to give you any freedom to really achieve the life that you want, and a system that is beneficial to the people that actually created it. Okay, if you are smart at all, if you have anything in your mind, you have to know that, for instance, like these Western nations, America and England, their entire system is set up to always benefit them. We even actually know as members of the diaspora that when these countries were being established and their government was being established and the Constitution was being established and written and all that, we were not even a forethought when any of that was being designed. That means that it's not in our favor. It's not to our benefit at all. And we have the opportunity to come to the continent and forge our own path. Now, the reality is forging your own path an easy task? No. Is it costly? Yes. Does it require you to sacrifice? Does it require you to end some relationships? Does it put you in a position where you may not necessarily know how it's all going to work? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you're going to have a better opportunity and ultimately more freedom. Because you see, the more infrastructure that there is, and the more government there is, and the more structure there is in this modern world, the less freedom you have. So in essence, when you are in the West and every move is being monitored, okay, every bank transaction is being logged, You have GPS on your cars and in your cell phones. You know, your liberties of speaking your mind, speaking your opinion, as we can see what's happening currently with Kanye. You know, depending on how you feel, what you talk about, what your opinions are, it determines whether or not you have freedom of speech or not. You know, so that is the cost of having a more structured life, or in essence, entrusting someone else to govern your life. You know, I want to say definitively to my peers, both on and off of the continent, seeing the bigger picture is going to be more rewarding at the end of the day. Many of the conveniences and governments and systems that you claim to enjoy all were started at some point. Somebody had to actually create, you know, the design for those things. You see, and we put ourselves at a huge disadvantage because we don't want to do that. You know, we don't want to do that. And the reality is other people are willing to do that. And when they do, they're going to obviously build it in their favor. Okay. The Chinese are not here to enterprise for Africans' well-being and things like that. The Lebanese are not here enterprising for the African continent, nor are the Americans and many even diasporans. They're not necessarily doing it with the intention of African people. Okay, that's just the reality of it. It's our responsibility for those of us that are, you know, indigenous, or those of us that have lineage that connects us to the continent, to do these things. Duh. You know, nobody but the Chinese man built China. Nobody but the Japanese man built Japan. Nobody but the German man built Germany. You know, the thinking that someone else is going to do it is where we are failing. You know, if you logically break it down to your everyday routine, you know, Zoo and Shayna's here, big shout out to Zoo and Shayna. Zoo and Shayna know that they have to govern their own household. They know they have to take care of their children. They know they have to, you know, take the rubbish out every week and cut the grass in their yard. And they know that they got to buy groceries to feed the kids. And they understand that, hey, if I leave this up to someone else, this is never going to get done. On a larger scale, we want to toss the buck. And it's not working, nor has it ever worked. You know, and honestly, the fact that there are many needs on the continent, you know, intellectually and physically, needs is what is very unattractive to many of our people. You know, they are not willing to come and do the legwork. They are not willing to be here. They're not willing, essentially, put their money where their mouth is. Even if you don't come here and you are able to enterprise or create your business, simply living here and using your resources here benefits the continent. You know, simply coming here, maybe purchasing a place, maybe renting a place, you know, bringing your children here, whatever it may be, you are contributing to the well-being and growth of a nation because you're actually using your resources here. Okay, I actually looked at my SendWave account yesterday. I was in my SendWave account, and that's how I've been moving money from the U.S. to, you know, my Ghanaian accounts, or paying various things such as my rent, my music videos, those kind of things. I have remitted since 2020 when I signed up for the SendWave, 15,000 USD to Ghana. I thought to myself, wow, if I weren't here in Ghana, that's money that would have been used in the UK, used in America, and probably unaccounted for. You know, clothes, shoes, bills, housing, food, whatever. 15,000 US dollars I have remitted in the course of 2 years from, you know, the US, my US accounts to here to Ghana. You know, so the fact that you identify that this option is going to come with challenges, at the end of the day, if you want what is afforded to you here, the challenges should not be a deterrent to you. What's up, family? Big shout out to the family. Make sure you like the stream. This is a brief one because it's kind of late. I'm even trying to keep my voice down so I don't disturb my neighbors. What's up, Nakumature? What's up, family? Yeah. We have a very immature perspective on our people, our future, and our homeland. You know, there comes a point, or there should come a point in your adulthood where you realize that this world is bigger than you. You know, this world is bigger than your needs and things like that. And we should have an investment in how things are going to be in the future. And if we're in a position to aid and abet that, we should definitely do it. You know, we know that the people that have their attention on the continent in large part are not paying attention to the continent with positive intentions. We absolutely know that. And we also recognize that this is our only refuge in the world. You know, the continent is where, the majority of countries with Black majorities exist. Okay, no Black majority countries in Europe, Asia. You know, there is a lot of Afro population in South America. You know, there's no Black states in America or anything like that. You know, which means that we should just do our best. You know, and obviously looking at the big picture, you know that your realm of influence may not be so massive. You know, I don't believe maybe that I would affect millions. I can, but I don't know. But that's not necessarily my goal. My goal is a lot more feasible, which is help, some. If I help some people, if I do my share, if I use, if I raise my family up with this kind of ideology, these kind of goals are feasible to do, and looking at what I'm planning to achieve here on the continent, understanding some of the associated things that may come with it, understanding that journey is not going to be smooth. People think moving to Africa is supposed to be easy. And I think to myself, are you serious? They have every reason to try to contain us in the West. They need us in the West. They depend on us in the West. They don't want us to really leave. Even though they might talk like it, they're not serious about us really leaving. They don't intend for us to go. So why would they make the transition easy? So that people just start leaving in droves. They have constructed a system whereby it's very difficult for you to get out. If you don't exercise some constructive thinking, you will never find your way out of the maze. And that is how it's designed. So what that means is if you decide I'm going to get up out of this maze, anticipate the difficulty involved in doing that. I don't care if you move to the Philippines or if you go to Brazil or if you move to Europe, okay? There is bureaucracy anywhere you go. But for Black diaspora to return to the continent, it is unfortunately more challenging than some of the other locations. They have not promoted us to explore the continent. Do you ever sit down and ask yourself, why haven't they promoted this? Huh? Because see, that's how I knew they was a lie. Okay, I knew that they were a lie in the West because they act like they don't want us to be there. Okay, first and foremost. But there's no support for us to be elsewhere. Historically, there are many opportunities to help our people transition back home or whatever. No reparations, nothing that's going to give us a competitive edge to leave. All of that indicates to me that there is no actual real desire for us to leave. Because obviously, if they wanted us to be out, you know, the sensible thing is, okay, well, let's provide you resources and then gradually move you guys on. But as I began to travel the world and live in different countries, I realized, oh, this is actually by design. What's up, Marie? I see you there. This is by design, guys. They don't actually want us to come back to the continent. They don't actually want us to open these, you know, means of communication where we are communicating back and forth about the reality of either side of the ocean. You know, so what I would love to see, I mean, I know that it's wishful thinking, but hey, anything can happen. What I would love to see is more maturity from our peers in their perspective of what we've come to do here on the continent. You know, I don't know what you people think. Being historic, being iconic, being a leader, being influential, none of those things are easy things to do. Okay, that's why we know a handful of people that are representative of millions of people in our lifetime. I mean, last time I checked, Malcolm X was not the only Black man alive in the 1960s. Okay, but he is so significant because of what he managed to do and what he represented. Okay, certainly, you know, Nelson Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, Magufuli, you know, all these people, they're not the only Black men on the African continent. But they were so significant, we know their names today. Which means if you have an intention of doing something significant, you should count up the stakes involved before you begin that journey as a mature adult. You know, when I decided I'm going to come to Ghana and I'm going to live in Ghana and I'm going to kind of carve some kind of path out here, okay, I made that decision without necessarily the support and understanding of my family and friends. I made that decision without a consistent source of resources. I made that decision knowing that a lot of people don't understand, can't relate, have not done it before. You know, I basically understood going into my migration to the continent that there's a lot of unknown, you know, elements into this movement, but I did it anyway. And at the end of the day, the reason I did it was because the ultimate prize of me moving to the continent and forging my path is freedom. Okay, I experienced freedom on this continent that I have never experienced anywhere else in the world. It is not available anywhere else in the world. You know, the freedom to be unapologetically myself is not available anywhere else. You know, any situation where you have to be a minority, you automatically cannot unapologetically be yourself as a Black person. We are in our very essence a threat to our peers in these settings because they recognize our superiority. They know that we hold the juice. They're concerned about us retaliating for all the things that they have done. You know, they continually project false narratives on our people and stereotypes on our people. You know, so our interaction with them is always going to be strained. It always has been strained. You know, for me, like we talked about on a previous live stream, big shout outs to the family in the building. If you're here, leave me something. And I'm going to greet you guys. I'm wrapping up shortly here. But I'm still willing to theoretically take up my cross understanding everything, you know, understanding a good portion of what's involved, not everything, because obviously I can't read the future. I don't know what's going to meet me at any corner. But obviously, I anticipated that this transition is going to come with this knock. So the first time I got a knock, it wasn't. I'm moving back to the UK. That's it. Shipping my stuff back. That's in this chapter. Some of you guys are not resilient, and you're not resilient in many different facets of your life. Not your marriage, okay? Not your kids, not your future, not your health. You know, anything that comes along your path, anybody says something to you discouraging, you just give up. You just quit. You just leave it to chance. You just leave it to, God's will. You don't apply your own power to anything. You just let it happen, whatever's going to happen. And the older I get, the more and more I see why some things are the way they are, is because our people rather participate in, the ready-made situation. They don't want to buy land and cultivate it. They don't want to start farms. They don't want to try to work through some of these, social nuances that we have, cultural differences. They're not willing to do that. But I see the foreigners doing it all the time. Chinese, they got a big interest on here on the continent. They're willing to come here. Totally different world than China. They're willing to come here, start their businesses, bring their people over. Some of them, they intermarry because their goals are, I want lands. I want lands in Kenya. So let me marry a Kenyan woman so that I can integrate into her family and have access. Hello. But yet the diaspora doesn't get it. Diaspora is busy on YouTube making stupid videos about why don't Black Americans like Africans, and why don't Africans like Black Americans, and the roads are rough in Ghana, and there was light out in Nigeria yesterday. You see what I'm saying? We are not thinking about the big picture. Some of the things I just mentioned are so minute to these people who are positioning themselves to take over. And guess what? All of you people that just want to be involved in the ready-made thing. See, you continentals. Okay, you continentals, you guys are ready to leave your homelands. You're fed up with Africa. You're tired. You just want to go to the UK where the system works. You just want to go to America where you can just get a minimum wage job. I heard a guy tell me yesterday in an Uber car, he's going to make, 10 times the money driving Uber in America than he does here in Ghana. And I say, yeah, but you know what? The Uber drivers are getting shot and killed, minding their own business in America. See, you want to take all the good without the bad, and you want to highlight all the bad here on the continent without seeing the good. Here in Ghana, it's extremely unlikely that an Uber or Bolt driver is going to get gunned down, by some stranger in their car. Mass shootings, not a thing here. Racially motivated crimes, police brutality, all these things that we're regularly facing. And obviously, yeah, the cost of living is increasing here in Ghana, but it's increasing everywhere. So you think that you're going to escape that in America? You think you're going to escape that in the UK? Very foolish. Our enemies, basically, our enemies are perpetual enemies, from our ancestors we don't know to modern day, are advertising something without analyzing it, without looking deeply into what it is that is actually being advertised. We just want to roll with it and run with it. It's crazy. If you think being a liability instead of establishing assets is smart, then you're not smart. It's always better to have your own stuff. Okay? That's how you actually get power. You can't get power when you're always at somebody else's leash, when you're borrowing from somebody and living in somebody's house, and you don't have any type of fiscal power. You see, that's why for the millions of blacks in the diaspora, the collective power is very little because there's no ownership. Okay, when for instance Kanye wanted to talk about the Jews, guess what they did? They said, "Oh, guess what? We're going to cancel all of your contracts that you have with our affiliates." That's power. Now, meanwhile, if the shoe was on the other foot, and he felt offended, which he clearly did feel offended by these Jewish people that he has contracts and business with. Could Kanye cancel them? Could Kanye cancel Balenciaga? Could Kanye cancel Adidas? Can any black person do it? In order to do something like that, you got to start your own stuff, guys. What better place and opportunity to do it here on the continent? But you're not attracted to it because you see difficulty. And you're like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to wait until somebody else goes and does it. All I can do is try to advise you well. That's all I can do. What you do with this information is up to you. But it's always better to have your own stuff. It's always better to have your own leverage. Do you know how powerful it is that I have my African option that I can exercise when I want to? You know what I mean? When I go to the UK and I know for a fact, yeah, I can bounce at any time. I got a place to live in Ghana. I'm getting myself established in Ghana. I don't have to be relegated to this environment anymore when I don't want to be. Very powerful. This is why they have not promoted us to explore our homeland. They want us to be orphans, in effect. They want us to be homeless. Because those of you guys who are Black Americans, you know that when you get upset and you try to raise concerns in America, both on a low level or a high level, they tell you, hey, this is what it is. This is what it's like. Okay? You take it or leave it. That's their attitude. And if they want to get real nasty, they'll say, well, you can just go back to your nation. You can just go back home. They say that to you as an insult because they understand that you are not established in your homeland. Yeah. Yeah. They understand that you're not established in your homeland. So in effect, you just got to put up with it as it is. That's why if you guys were smart, even if you were not fully coming to the continent or whatever, if you're in a position to invest or get something popping, do it here on the continent. Hello, it gives you an option. It gives you an option. Shame on you Africans that have migrated to the West and you have just, you have nothing going on at home. You put all your eggs in a basket. That's what you've done. And if anything goes down in your foreign location, what the hell are you going to do? You are stuck. You are stuck. And how short the memory that some of you have. Because when COVID came and the lockdowns were happening and people realized, oh my gosh, I'm actually trapped here in America. I'm actually trapped here in the UK. I don't have papers. I don't have my passport. I haven't renewed my passport back in Nigeria. I haven't renewed my passport back in Ghana. I can't travel. I'm stuck here. Okay? Wake up call. Because the COVID lockdowns was a wake up call to me. I said, yeah, we need to get this African plan rolling right now. Because I, for instance, don't want to be stuck in the UK if anything goes down. History should serve as a bit of a reminder, Okay, you see what's happening in Europe, for instance, with this Ukraine-Russia thing. Okay, for those of my European viewers, this one's for you. I want to refresh your memory on the World War I and the World War II. Okay, that was fought primarily in Europe. Okay, UK, for instance, was getting bombed like nobody's business by the Germans. Okay, bombed. Now you saw that there were tons of, African students and migrants and stuff in Ukraine. And when Russia went into Ukraine, Africans found themselves dealing with a situation, they never ever anticipated. All y'all living in foreign lands should be always have that in your mind. Okay? You don't want to find yourself in the middle of something that has nothing to pertain with you. Having your situation sorted out back home is always a wise thing as a foreigner. Because you should know that, hey, I'm in this country, but this is not my home for real. And anything can go down. And I need to have an option. You see what I'm saying? I got options right now. I can say, yeah, I don't want to go to the U.S. Like, I haven't been to the U.S. all year this year. If I decide I don't want to go, I ain't got to go. When I go to the UK and I get fed up and my time is up, I'd be like, I'm out. Going to Ghana. Some of you people been putting snow all over my timeline and Facebook and everything. And I'm like, God, I'm so happy that I can escape winter. It is a major flex, and I'm going to talk about it all winter because that. But had I not set myself up in Ghana, I wouldn't have the option of doing precisely what I'm doing. Now, my planning to come to Ghana, it took a long time. Those of you guys that are watching me, you know the process. Some of you guys that are here on the ground, we have all had our ups and downs here on the continent. However, what's it say? The ends justify the means. The ends justify the means. Certainly, the people that are willing to do the struggle life here on the continent, and I use that term lightly because my life on the continent is not struggle life at all. But those of us that are willing to, pivot to the continent, begin our transition, try to establish something here, at the end, we win. Yeah. I mean, since you guys love the West and you like Western media and stuff, even Forbes has told you, basically all economic outlets have told you Africa is the next big thing. Duh. You would be a fool to be in a position to take advantage of this opportunity and not do it. And even if you're not investing, like I said, options is nice to have. We live in a crazy world, okay? And if you live in the West, the Western nations are known to instigate and start drama and problems, wars, and all kind of instability. Historically, you look across the continent. When was Africa involved in world wars? Hello. When's the last time you heard Nigeria want to roll up and go? We want to claim that territory for ourselves. We about to just roll over there with the tanks. Never. When did Zambia invade, Zimbabwe? Did Egypt say, yeah, we about to take over Congo? Never. You know what I mean? You're playing with fire in these situations, not to mention just the day-to-day reality of, like, for instance, living in America. I've talked to several of our family members that have traveled back for the holidays, and, they are reporting to me from many different states, from Virginia, from Atlanta, from California, from Chicago. Gun violence is out of control in America. Absolutely out of control. Why you would sit into that situation and not even consider setting up refuge somewhere else or having that option is bizarre to me. Because, all these people that are getting involved in these mass shootings, for instance, are all of them didn't plan on becoming victims. yet. Because which one of you guys gets on a subway train in the morning, going to work and thinking, oh, yeah, Psycho's going to get on here, shoot up the damn train? How about that shooting that just happened in Virginia at the Walmart? They were in a little team meeting before the shift, and the dude just came in there, started shooting his colleagues. You know, playing with fire. Y'all can say whatever you want to say about Ghana, but the things that are confronting, America and stuff like that, no, it's not going down over here. And it's why it's such a lovely option, but you're going to miss out on option if you're deterred by the potential challenges. I'm going to tell you right now. There's lots of things that you could look at and be deterred from the content, perhaps. You could just be like, I just can't deal with those rough roads, Gina. I don't know how you sit in that Uber car and just go up and down on the road sometimes. I cannot tolerate it. Gina, I just don't know how you just deal with that. I forget who it was the other day. I was talking to someone and they were upset because they had ordered food and it was taking a while. So you can tell those of us that are now Ghanaians, because we know the routine. Like it doesn't even register to us now, some of the things that happen. But obviously, like people that have been outside for a while or people that are traveling here for the first time, they'll be seeing these things and they'll be so perturbed by it, And I was just like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's okay. Like, we got time. Like, we have the luxury of time here. You know what I mean? The reason why, for instance, in New York City and London, everybody's concerned about the time is because they got so much on your plate. Okay, I only got 30 minutes for lunch, so I need to hurry up and get there and get back. Okay, I got to get the train in 5 minutes. I got to get the bus. Okay, if I'm 5 minutes late, my boss is going to be all down my back. Here is a much more relaxed pace. You might not like it, maybe, but it teaches you patience. And then you realize you have time. Coming back to Ghana from the UK, I realized, wow, time is such a luxury. I went to the salon. The girl was just taking her time, giving me a great pedicure. She was just like, I went to do my hair. Shout out to Gladys. She was just taking. Now, doesn't the hair look nice? Huh? Do you like the hair? Can I get a number one if you like the hair? Now, some of you guys, you don't like it when I do colors. I'm so sorry. This is for a music video, but the hair is lit. I'm sorry. This hair is very special. And Gladys took time on my hair. Okay? She took time. She wasn't like trying to do a half job on my hair. Okay? I appreciate the time. Several of my friends, since I've been back, we meet up for a meal, and then it turns into something else, and then it turns into something else, and they spend the whole afternoon with me. And I love the luxury of time. I love that. I love the fact that we have the freedom to just live our lives without the constraints. So in one way, you might be frustrated by it, but in another way, it's positive. It just depends on how you look at it. I like that nobody rushes me here in Ghana. Nobody rushes me here in Ghana. Even if I'm a few minutes late, nobody's going to complain. And I like that. Because all that time constraint stuff is very, very stressful. Okay, there's nothing like being in your car and there's a car accident and you start sweating bullets because you know that your boss is a total dickhead, and if you're late to work, they're going to write you up and they're going to have a conversation, they're going to send you an email, and it's going to be dramatic, and you're like, it was 5 minutes. Okay, I live like 30 or 45 minutes away from here. It's very obvious that I was en route when I was supposed to be. But in those settings, 5 minutes, it's very, very stressful. So in essence, what I came to tell you guys is, number one, anticipate the potential challenges on this journey here to freedom, Number one. Number two, look at the option from a broad aerial perspective. Okay, I'm going to put up with some rough roads here in Ghana. Okay, I'm going to deal with some cultural differences. All right, I'm going to have to make new friends and learn new demographics. However, what I receive is so much more valuable than the cost that I got to pay. And so, if that's the case, then I'm going to go ahead and pay the cost, because only immature people want things for free. Mature people know nothing ever is free. There's always an associated cost, whether it's obvious or indirect, but there's always an associated cost. So actually, a mature person rather know the pros and cons and say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take that package deal with those cons, because at the end of the day, I'm going to benefit more than if I took this package deal with the pros and cons. So in America, there are positive things, I guess. People that are in situations where employment is a challenge. Employment is a challenge here in Ghana, because the need for entrepreneurship is paramount. That's why there's not enough businesses to support the economy here for everyone just to kind of have a minimum wage job and things like that. So when you go to America, they happily have minimum wage jobs in which you will amount to nothing, be nothing. You will live hand to mouth for the rest of your life. You will make just enough to cover your living expenses and maybe buy a pair of shoes or get your hair done every now and then. And that's going to be the trade-off. Okay, you can, live on paved roads, but you got to worry about police brutality where they're going to pull you over for any old reason, and it could result in you losing your life. Okay, you're going to deal with harsh weather that makes you have seasonal depression and maybe get sick. You see? So there's pros and cons of everything. But maturity is going to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to weigh what is on this table and make a decision about what's on this table. I counted up the cost before I moved to Ghana that I'm ready to embark on this journey. I don't care. I'm choosing to be resilient. I'm choosing to be creative. I'm choosing to, position myself to solve my own problems. Not expecting Ghana to solve it for me, not expecting the president to solve it for me. I want to be here, so I take that as my responsibility. It's not easy, but so what? Because I get freedom on the other end, which is not available in the West, and the freedom is sweet. Oh, the freedom is just so appetizing. It's worth any amount of my resources that I can muster up to have the freedom. I swear to you. That's why no matter how many times I've come to Ghana, probably shoot over 20 times by now. I'm so excited. It's because Ghana provides me freedom. And no other place has ever provided me freedom. So I feel like the associated costs for freedom, because if you guys are Americans, then they always tell you all that freedom isn't for free. They tell you that them soldiers went to war to protect the freedom of America. Well, then blah, blah, blah. That means that the freedom that you can obtain here on the continent is also not free. It comes with a price tag. Okay, so let's not be cheap. Especially if you talk about how you don't like all the parameters in the West, and you don't like how you're mistreated, you don't like how the education they're giving your kids, and you have all these laments. Well, then pay up the cost to get some freedom. So anyway, guys, I've talked enough. These were just the thoughts and opinions I had, following my night out with Monica. Big shout outs to Monica. Yes, she was not taking no tonight. She was like, look, you need to come out with me. You've been gone for a minute. Come out. So I came in, and this was my thought, because I realized it's a Tuesday night. And we were chilling in Ghana. and we were free and relaxed, and we had a good time, and we came home, and it was just like, not a care in the world. And I thought to myself, how fortunate am I to do that? And Monica even commented, she said, if we was back there, we would be home under them covers, because like Jackie's talking about, it's cold as hell right now. See the little face? Y'all see Jackie's little face? It's blue and it's got ice on it. And I know a lot of y'all is going through that right now. So I am just so deeply grateful. You know what I mean? Roots Reggae Girls, it's absolutely, I can't even articulate how good it feels to be here, when I otherwise would really not want to be elsewhere. It's just amazing. That's why I'm promoting you guys to also explore your options. Zoo and Shayna, I don't have my New Year's Eve plans yet, okay? Y'all do the most. I can't. I cannot. I don't know what I'm doing New Year's Eve yet. Who said I was dropping a new video at 12 a.m. on New Year's Day? See, I didn't even say that. Y'all is off the chain. I'm not going to mind Zoo and Shayna. She's hype about the new EP and music video. I did not even say I was dropping it at 12 a.m. Extra. I'm not going to do that because everybody will still be out and partying. I'll probably drop it like around, my normal time is usually like either 2 or 6 p.m. on New Year's Day. But we're not even there yet. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Look, Zoo and Shayna has moved forward. She's talking about New Year's Eve because she knows I'm dropping my new music video and my EP is coming out New Year's Day. So she done fast forwarded through Christmas and New Year's like, yeah, I'm trying to know when the music is dropping. I can't. Zoo and Shayna. Anyway, family. I love you for that, though. I love you for that. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the family. All right, guys. Look, I'm about to roll out. It's late. It's like almost 1:30 a.m. here. So, yes. But it's good to see you guys. And I hope that, this message, I want to motivate you guys to liberate yourself from some of the nonsense that you're just going through unnecessarily. You're doing struggle life in the West. If you're doing struggle life, if you're going to do struggle life, at the end of the day, you need to get something. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm going to be struggle life in the West. Okay, realistically, I'm going to be struggling, doing all that stuff I don't like doing. So I might as well come here and do a little struggle life on the continent. And again, that is theoretic because I'm not struggling here at all. I'm really enjoying my life here in Ghana. But I rather go do some maybe ups and downs here on the continent, have it amount to something at the end versus the struggle life in the West is going to give you 0 at the end. You might even have an epiphany when you get old, like, damn, I wasted all that time and look at me now. I'm old. I don't have anything going on. I should listen to African Superstar, what she told me in 2022. Don't let that be your story. Don't let that be your story. Much love to the family. I love y'all. Thank you. Yeah, Zoo and Shayna, not a lot of people doing what I'm doing. That is the truth. Yeah, because I haven't heard no other artists. They might start biting though, now that they see, but African Superstar dropping something on New Year's Eve. You know what these people are like, because they just lack. They just are just a story of lack. They have no creativity, so they got to just bite off of everybody else who's trying to do something. But that's okay. You know what I mean? As long as we know where it started from, and they can only bite so much because I'm the source. So they can copy what I've already done, but they can't innovate what I'm doing. You feel me? Bores. I'm going now, family. I've been on here a minute. So for those of you entering the chat room, sorry, you're going to catch a playback. All right. So do not be deterred from the content because of the associated challenges. Don't be deterred from anything that you really want and you really need because of the challenges. Because I guarantee the things that have challenges around them sometimes and you persevere, huh? You persevere and then maybe you flex. I'm trying to tell you. Those of you guys that never persevered, you don't know the joy from the flex that comes when you flex on them after you persevere, after people said you wasn't going to do it, after people had these low expectations and ill wishes, and then you come back like you don't know the power of flex. Unbelievable. Trust me. You feel me? So I love you guys. I'll see you again very soon. Until you meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.